Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. Obviously, OP and Karen would have hit it off and had a great, long life together after their life-changing conversation. All ruined because OP had the gall to talk to their mother on the phone. Just kidding, guys. Here's another story about Crazy Karen. Talking in public outdoor spaces? Not on Karen's watch. A few weeks back, I was walking home from the train station after work and decided to call my mother. We live several states apart, USA, and she tends to ramble a bit when we talk, so I often use the mile-long walk to give her as much conversation time as she likes. I always have my headphones in and try to keep my voice at a normal conversational volume. It's pretty commonplace to see people on the phone outside here, and I've never thought anything of it. Until Karen crossed my path. About a block into my walk, I had an older woman walking a dog in front of me. The pup was making frequent stops, naturally, and I walked fast, so I skirted around them when the sidewalk widened enough and continued on my way, chatting with my mother all the while. A moment later, I realized someone was calling to me. "Are you on the phone?" I heard when I popped one earbud out to listen. "Yes," I said. Wrong answer, apparently. Karen lost her mind, shouting that I was being rude, that I sounded crazy talking to myself, that nobody had any respect these days, etc. She actually followed me for a few blocks, yelling and cursing at me. I tried telling her to leave me alone, but she didn't even respond directly, just continued her loud tirade. Finally, she shouted, "Have a precious little life," and turned down a side street, towing her poor dog behind her, leaving my mother and I to wonder what the hell just happened. I haven't encountered her on my walk since, thank God. And our second story. Get my priorities straight? No problem. So in 2018, I was a freshman in college, and after being unemployed for a month, I took a job at a major sports department store where they don't wear blue. So my store manager, who we'll call Daniel, was a major jerk. He'd make crude jokes that gets him reported to HQ, gossip about employees to other ones, and generally favor men over women, which I'll explain. So I worked at this store for nearly a year, and the turnover rate was abysmal. They'd hire many people who were still in high school and expect them to devote 20 hours a week, which of course was not what they signed up for, as many wanted about 12 to 15 since they were involved in extracurricular activities. However, Daniel showed no remorse and would often drive people to quit by either dropping their hours to less than 5 or hiking them up to 30, knowing that they couldn't work them, which often left us understaffed. The store was attached to a mall, so we got a lot of petty traffic that would turn into actual sales. However, due to the lack of training by Daniel and his poor oversight in appointing people to train new hires, the customer service in the store was failing dramatically, which halted sales, which led to a decrease in merchandising. The store was a $12 million store when I started, but it fell to $8 million in a few months because HQ was losing money by stocking a poorly managed store. Daniel took out his frustration on the staff, and here's where the MC starts. Daniel was on a good reviews crusade and often demanded us to comply with the customer even if they were dead wrong, just so they'd leave a good review. I worked in footwear, so there's nothing like the anger that arises when telling someone that the oh-so-popular shoe that they desire is out of stock in their size. Because a customer got upset with me over their size being out of stock, I was charged with cleaning the bathrooms. I never did this because, like the overachiever I am, I learned how to work in multiple departments without getting a raise. Thus, Daniel was a wee bit appreciative and never asked me to clean it. Now, I'm easily disgusted. The mere thought of rotten food or bugs or anything I deem ungodly deplorable will get me dry heaving. And I explained this to Danny Boy, but he replied with, "Just get it done." So me and Brent went to clean the men's room, since it was a two-person job. And I might mention that Brent's disgustometer is also not tolerant, so we sprayed Febreze, took out the trash, and ran out of there for our lives, leaving the dirtied mirrors and stained walls untouched. I came in the next day and was told that I did an awful job and that I was never to clean the bathrooms again. So when Daniel asked me to do it a few weeks later, I reminded him of his instructions, and we all watched in marvel as a manager cleaned it, which he said was a big deal since it was not in his job description, but yet wasn't in any of ours either, since he had told many of us that the store had janitors in our interviews. See, I'd grown tired of Daniel in my waiting months at the store. Many of my friends had quit or found better jobs, the hires got worse, and Daniel got much ruder. He attempted to show dominance at any chance he could, and even forced a "do we have a problem here" convo with me when I didn't rush to change into the new company uniform. That was not my size, because I was helping a customer, which then resulted in me getting chewed out because my boobs were popping out and my figure was showing too much as a result of the medium A shirt I was forced to wear. But Daniel committed to his paladin-esque crusade and denied us basic rights in the spirit of good customer service. A pregnant coworker with a doctor's note was denied a chair while working at the register. A coworker with seething cramps was not allowed to go home, though she couldn't stand, and another was barred from taking off to witness her daughter's prom send-off. But in contrast, a guy left his phone at home, and he was allowed to not only go get it, but take the rest of the day off. Another called in because of a hangover and was told to rest up and that he wouldn't receive a strike. And his favorite star boy was allowed to disappear often and be on his phone right in front of Daniel, and he didn't even bat an eye. Even the men there obliged to the notion that they were treated far better than the female staff. And one day, Daniel chose to single me out. Not to toot my own horn, but I am a hard-butt worker. And Daniel abused that by scheduling me my shifts in different departments and speed training me, knowing I'd catch on quickly. I even had to train new employees, though I wasn't a lead, because I got good reviews and conducted the most footwear services last year. And after I demanded a raise, my $11 an hour, 35 to 45 hours a week summer paychecks were looking nice in spite of the horrible managing. But school started up again, and I informed Daniel that I needed to return to my somber 15-hour weeks that I had last semester. He said that I was lying and that he never gave me such little hours, till I hit him with a pic of the schedule that I had from March. He didn't like that, chin tap, and replied with, "I'll see what I can do." So next week, I see the schedule and see that not only was I scheduled from 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. for inventory, but those also were my only hours. 6 effing hours. But I think, oh, they ain't doing you dirty, OP. This is obviously a mistake. So I seek out Danley the Manly and tell him of his mistake, and responds with, "Daniel, that wasn't a mistake. You said you needed less hours." OP, yes, but I can't work past 10 because I have school, and I just wanted to drop to about 15 to 20 hours, which is more than I did last semester. Daniel, well, everybody has to work inventory. OP, but Lindy and Richie don't have it because they also have school, plus Lindy, Richie, and Michael all have more hours than me, but they're all in high school and just started working here. Daniel, noticing he's running out of excuses, well, they're more available than you, and we award availability. If you can free up some time, then maybe we can talk in a month, but you need to get your priorities straight. You got it, dude. So as someone who takes disrespect with a pillar of salt, I considered quitting right then and there, but my anxiety kicked in and began to worry about cash flow. So I went home on my break and complained to my family, and my mom so eloquently expressed, "Just quit the damn job if you get this damn stressed. It ain't like you got a family to feed." So I took my single, no child having, empty-bellied butt up there and worked the last 2 hours of my shift. The air in the building hit different, knowing I would have to spend more time in it awake than I did in my own home. I was calm, cleaned the footwear deck efficiently, and made sure I was the last to clock out. As I approached Daniel at the exit, I said, "So yeah, this'll be my last day here. I got my priorities straight, and school is my number one. I recently got an internship there, and I'll just go there because they're more accommodating to my needs as a student. Thanks for the time here. Sucks that we couldn't work it out." And with that, I watched his face turn white. He said something about not being able to work for the company again due to my lack of a 2 weeks notice. Didn't care, was never going to work there again, and now every time I come to the mall and he happens to see me, he doesn't look me in the eyes, speak to me, and rushes away from the counter so he doesn't have to ring me up. You got what you wanted, Dan. And our last story. Told my neighbors, now they're threatening to sue. I, male, 23, live in my grandparents' garage. It has full electrical and plumbing. I even have fiber optic internet. They had it converted legally to a suite when my oldest cousin went to university in their city. I'm the youngest cousin. Until one of my older relatives' kids are ready to go to university, I have a cheap place to live. My grandparents no longer drive, but I do. I don't own a car. I use a car share service. The problem is, I always run my grandparents around. I take them for appointments and grocery shopping and to family functions. I don't mind at all. I'm saving so much money by living with them, I'll be able to have a great down payment for a house when I move out. But the neighborhood has no private street parking. It's an old neighborhood built before every family had multiple cars. And you cannot double park. You would definitely be a jerk for blocking traffic in one direction. So when we're going to need a car, I always know in advance to arrange my schedule so I can pick one up. Then I park in front of the house so my grandparents can get in safely, and off we go. But a few of the neighbors have started parking in front of the house since we do not. This is not usually a problem because, as I stated, we don't own a car, but sometimes this means that I have to park a block away and then come get them. Like I said, we always schedule our trips. We go grocery shopping the same time every week. Their doctor's appointments are scheduled weeks in advance, so we tell the neighbors and they make sure I can park in front of the house. Until the new neighbors. They have 5 cars. They park 1 in their garage and 4 on the street, including 2 in front of my grandparents' house. I've tried asking them to please be sure to leave a parking spot on the days I need it. They said that there is no private parking spots on the street, so they refuse to leave a spot. So I got a handicap parking pass from the city since I'm the driver for my grandparents, and I got the city to put a handicap parking spot in front of the house. Anyone with a handicap parking pass can park there, but no one else has one. But the city still treats it like any other zone and has been ticketing cars that park there. Now the neighbors are mad at me because they've been ticketed multiple times, and now they've been towed at least once. They're calling me an a-hole for taking up a spot that I don't even need 99.9% of the time, and even threatened to sue us, although that didn't work out. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.